yourself stuck in the middle of the sea, I'll sail the world to find you. If you ever find yourself lost in the dark and you can't see, I'll be the light to guide you. Find out what we're made of.
Welcome to Mustangs on the Mic. This week is Admin Takeover.
This week we interviewed the admin and they shared anything they want the community to know. I interviewed our superintendent, Mr. Klasnat, and he gave us some updates on the community, such as the upcoming school board meeting.
Yeah, thanks, Ruby. Appreciate you guys doing this. Welcome everybody. Got Casey Klausner, Superintendent of Schools. Been here 8 years. Going to hit on a few big topics here that are coming up, and most people probably heard of most of these, but I just kind of want to go into more detail. So you may have heard at our school board meetings the CNA, which stands for Comprehensive Needs Assessment. That is a new requirement under the administrative rules of Montana for school accreditation for a school to gauge their school culture by surveying various shareholders such as students, parents, and staff. So right now we have a survey that is being distributed to staff, and then we're going to find out how they feel about our facilities, how they feel about the administration, the school board, the technology, and all those different things that kind of help define a school culture. So that's something we're doing right now. Next month in March will be the students. We'll break it down. It'll be the secondary students, and we're going to get their feel on school culture as well. So that's something new that we're doing this year, but it's a requirement. So we're hoping to get all our results back in May, and then we'll share those with the community. So we want to see what the baseline is of that survey, and then we want to set goals over here, and then we want to see how we can close that gap and improve our school. So parents out there listening, be ready for that survey here in a month or two. Board meeting coming up on Monday. It is changed to Monday, February 12th, not the 14th. Just some big things on there, some policy that I really feel that the community needs to know about. All school board policy is important. It's always on our agendas to be talked about. But there's some new policy, and it's 3141. So in our policy series, it's in the 3000 series. And this is on out-of-district attendance agreements for students that don't live in the Ennis School District. For example, we have students now that live in the Harrison School District that we allow to come to our school. We can say yes or no to these students. And typically, we've always said yes. We want to be good neighbors. We want kids in our school. This new law now doesn't really give the school a lot of choice. So if a student from Harrison or Sheridan wants to come here, we almost have to just let them in because that's what the new law says. But however, the board needs to discuss this at the next meeting and how we can set parameters on who we allow, and then that has to be part of our strategic plan. So it's new. It's a lot of details. For example, a parameter could be we're growing fast, we're out of room. We could put in there as a goal or in our strategic plan that we can't accept any more students from out of district because we're at capacity in our school, but we have to define that. So that's just a little bit about the policy. There's a lot more to it, so that is going to be on this meeting agenda. The other one is policy 1420. That's under the school board of trustees section of the policy manual, and that is on just school board meetings in general. So right now, we post our meeting agendas typically at the front doors of the school, the post offices and things like that on the website. Now it is a requirement for all schools to record their school board meetings and have video and audio. And that starts July 1st. So that's going to be a discussion at this next meeting. It's not a requirement to be live streamed, but we do have to record it and put it on our website within 5 days after the board meeting. So that's another new requirement from the last legislative session. The other one that's on there that might pique some interest is we are talking about 8th grade participation potentially in some high school sports if we absolutely need the numbers. This is something that Ennis has not allowed in the past because we've had adequate numbers, but the number of programs we have now, it's kind of stretching some of our kids thin, meaning we may have to bring up kids to play in a certain sport. That's going to be discussed at length by the board and the administration. So nothing to be final on that really, but it's just going to start the discussion, and we're looking for a policy on 8th grade participation more than likely here in the next month or two. So those are the big ones. The other one on there is the budgets. This time of year, our business manager and myself sit down and we go through the various budgets, which we have several. We have the general fund, and we have several other permissive levy budgets that we manage, and we try to get a good idea of what the next year is going to be, and we base this off of a lot of our student count, and then we can start doing more detailed budgeting. We do have 2 3-year school board trustee positions open. It's like I said, a 3-year term, and those petitions are due back to the business office here at the high school no later than 4 p.m. on March 28th. So if you need a petition for that, anybody out there, you have to be a registered voter in our community. You have to live here in the district, and you come to the school, get that petition, get it filled out. It has to be notarized, bring it back, and then it'll be placed on the ballot in May. So those are just a few things that we got. There's a lot more, and I always encourage people to stop by, ask questions. My door is always open, and I just want to thank everybody for their support. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Klasna.
I interviewed the high school principal, Miss Newman, today for Admin Takeover.
Well, there's quite a bit going on, John. We last talked in December, and since coming back from Christmas break, we've started our 4-day week, which I think has been going really well. I've heard everything positive from kids and the teachers. I'm really liking it as far as basketball goes because the kids are not missing as much school, and I don't have to get as many subs for teachers, so the teachers are in the classroom more. So that's been a great thing that has happened since we last talked. In January, I did attend a state principals conference, which is always fun because you get around all sorts of different principals from around the state. You get to talk a lot about different issues that they're dealing with, which is similar to us, and so you get to kind of problem solve with each other and see what everybody is doing, how they're handling things. There also was a lot of cool speakers. One that I super enjoyed was the producer of Napoleon Dynamite. And he was really entertaining in his whole speech because you could just relate him right to Napoleon Dynamite with his sense of humor. It was pretty fun. We had our local spelling bee on the 24th, and Celie Klasna won that for our school. And tomorrow we have a bunch going to, I think there's about 10 kids going to VC to compete in the county spelling bee. Science fair was yesterday. I hope people were able to go to the science fair. A lot of projects, I can't remember exactly how many, but a lot of projects, a lot of community support for the science fair. We had 40 judges. We had gals that set up a lot of the judging and the special awards. We had people volunteer to run the scoring table. So we have a lot of volunteers that come in from the community for that. And the community gave out $2,500 worth in prizes, which is really cool. So I love seeing the science fair and see how generous our community is, because it just reminds us to appreciate that. High school basketball has been crazy busy. So senior night was last week. The last home game is going to be on Saturday, and next week you guys jump right into district tournaments, and so it goes from that. Junior high boys have been playing basketball as well. Their last home game is going to be on the 13th. Speech and drama have gone and competed at their state. We had quite a few kids. I believe it was 5 kids that placed in the top 8 at state, which was really cool. We have our wrestlers going to their state meet this weekend. We've got 2 of them that qualified for state, so that's a first for us, which is really cool. Well, Brummy, we had Brummy, but now we have like a full team, if that makes sense. So I don't want to discount Brummy at all, but we've got a whole bunch of kids that have been involved in that this year, and so that's been successful. Junior high has a dance on Thursday, if you didn't know that, John, so that's always a fun time for those junior high kids. But that's about it for now, but we're hitting the crazy springtime. February gets busy with tournaments, and then March just is crazy because it's March and everything that goes on there. But right now we're kind of waiting for that all to pick up, but that's all I've got for now.
Thank you, Miss Newman.
I asked our elementary principal, Mr. Hilden, if he has any new updates that he would like to share with the community. Alright, is there anything you'd like to share with the community regarding the elementary school?
Yeah, there is, Ruby. I'll run through some things here. So I'll start with January, since I don't think we've talked since December. So January, busy month, everybody coming off a break. It took a little bit of a while for people to kind of get back in the swing of things. Kids were a little tired. Sal was a little tired coming off that winter break, but everybody's kind of back in the swing of things now. Started our second semester and went to the 4-day school week schedule as well, and started the Friday program for those families that were interested in that. We have 20 to 25 kids usually participating in that Friday program, so that's been good. We also started Little Mustangs on Fridays as well for any K-5 students that have been interested in that. We usually have 90 or so kids that are participating in that K through 5. So really a good turnout for that program also. We had our annual Montana Shakes performance as well as our school spelling bee. 8th grader Celia Klasna won the spelling bee again this year, so she was a repeat champion. She, along with Karin Vodran, Anna Kelly, Sienna Heiser, Braxton Nichols, James Henrik, Jack Leonard, Sven Gustafson, and Max Hill, they'll all represent our school at the county spelling bee here on February 7th in Virginia City. So I want to wish them good luck also. Today we had our 100th day of school, and many students dressed up like they were 100 years old. I don't know if you saw any kids kicking around, but it was a lot of fun to see that. We had some kindergarten students that were dressed up like they were 100. So it's a lot of fun when we hit that 100th day and seeing those kids dress up. I saw an old lady walking down the hallway with a cane who was a first grade student, and she had curlers in her hair and everything like that. So just a lot of fun to hit that 100th day. We also have Science Fair coming next week, and I don't know when this will air, but we have that on February 5th. Encourage everyone to come in and check out the projects during the viewing and the awards that go on awards night on February 5th. Also, just a reminder, February 4th is when students will bring in their projects. Some other upcoming events and reminders for parents. We have Missoula Children's Theater coming into town the week of February 12th to the 23rd, so that's a busy week for us. The performances will be the afternoon and the evening of the 23rd at 4 o'clock and 6:30, and that's all in the elementary gym. So just want to encourage people to come out and attend that. It's always a real treat. This year's play is Treasure Island for those students who want to participate in that. And also just like to remind parents that we don't have Colt Club that week, that we have Missoula Children's Theater because we use the lunchroom as well as the music room and the elementary gym, so all the facility will be tied up for that. We also have Read Across America Week coming up the week of March 4th through the 8th, which is a great way to celebrate reading and just encourage students to continue to pick up those books and read. And then finally, just letting parents know that we have a lot of sickness going on right now. We've had a lot of kids out. I think we had like 78 kids out yesterday, K through 12, so a lot of sickness going around. Just want to remind parents, please keep those kids home if they have a fever, they're throwing up, etc. Let them get better so we're not sharing with everybody. Just want to try to slow that spread a little bit. So other than that, that's all I have for this month's Takeover. Ruby, appreciate it, and hope everybody has a great February.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hilton.
Today, I filmed the high school athletic director, Mr. Overstreet. What's going on as being the athletic director of the high school?
So right now, it's the first week of February, and the athletics in the school are very busy. We are just finishing up the junior high boys basketball season. They had a great season. They started in January, and their season will finish up next week with a game in Twin Bridges. Wrestling is heading to the state meet in Billings this week. We had 2 wrestlers that qualified for the state meet in Billings. Good luck, wrestlers. That's an exciting time for them as well. Speech and drama just finished their state meet a couple weeks ago, and our speech and drama team had excellent successes throughout this season. Basketball is winding down with the district tournament starting next week. The boys will start off Wednesday and the girls will start off Thursday. Other than that, just making sure that all our student athletes are staying on top of their grades and working hard in class, and making sure that we as a school are supporting each student athlete the best that we can.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Overstreet. Today, I interviewed the high school counselor, Mr. Speck. What's going on in the counseling world?
In the counseling world, there's a lot going on, but I would say the main point of emphasis right now is graduation and scholarships. Not only am I an advocate for all students in junior high and high school, scholarship-wise, our biggest deadline is March 15th. We have some different deadline that's all on the school website. I'm starting to get everything finalized as far as on our school website and looking up applications and looking up information and procedures. Also, getting sent off as of tomorrow actually is our diploma list and our graduation list for valedictorian, salutatorian, and overall numbers and diplomas. Another thing going on is National Honor Society. We are soon going to have another National Honor Society meeting. We plan on doing a blood drive in late March, and that will include students and community members. Try to get that information sent off actually by this weekend. And then also coming up in the near future is the pre-ACT, which is a practice ACT test for the sophomores. Give them a little taste of what the actual ACT is going to look like their junior year. And then following that is the actual ACT for juniors. So that's the statewide assessment, statewide district-wide assessment that I administer. It's all online now. So parents can be looking out for a release form for them to take the ACT test. And then, as I mentioned earlier, I'm an advocate for the students, and so day-to-day stuff, building rapport, building relationships with students and teachers, and trying my best to interject when needed as far as culture goes. So right now we're in the winter months and the cold months, and so it's easy to be down in the dumps as far as culture goes, attitude goes, behavior goes, whatever it might be. But what I'm here for is voice of reason.
Thanks for watching this week's video of Mustangs on the Mic. Just hold this one up. Yeah.
You make my heart skip a beat.
Stop. You need somebody